You just sang Surely the Presence. We started singing this about a month and a half ago, every week. Well, Kelly and Bonnie remember that for probably 15 years, we started every service with Surely the Presence of the Lord is in this place. And that's true. But recently I was in a conversation. There were 6 people in this conversation, and one of those people happened to be our illustrious board moderator, Mr. Thush. And comment was made that if you'd read along with me, let's read the opening little statement right under Church of the Oaks. A community that is beautiful, peaceful, and safe, dedicated to the enrichment of life's experience. May all who come here, regardless of their spiritual philosophies, feel the presence. And unanimously, the people in this little discussion said that that's the nugget, that's the beauty, that's the reason we come here every Sunday in this very special place. It's safe, it's peaceful, and there's presence. So it was concluded during this discussion that for a while we were going to focus our intention at the start of every service on feeling the presence. So we're going to do it for a while, and then we'll do something different. But at this time, I'd like to invite each of you to maybe close your eyes for a moment. And I'd invite you to feel the presence of your own being, the presence of connection with the person next to you, the person 2 pews over, the connection with the divine in each of you and that person next to you. Feel the presence of love and compassion and empathy in the air in this room. You are part of that. You are the presence. Each of us is the presence. God is the presence. Spirit is the presence. And that's the joy of experiencing being here on a Sunday morning. And so it is.
Good morning. Ah, that energy is so wonderful. Thank you. I'm going to talk about energy today too, but in a little different way. Our world is very fast. So much goes on around us. I wonder if we recognize the energy that envelops us and in some cases invades us. A common example is traffic. Need I say more? We deal with energy impact, our own and others, and how we deal with it is truly up to us. One time, I turned into a shopping center parking lot and was slightly over the middle divide as there were no other cars. As soon as I saw a truck turn into this lane from a distant corner, I moved over. I thought nothing of this until the truck passed me with the driver screaming obscenities at me. My first reaction was physical. His yelling actually made my shoulders jump. I was so startled. Almost simultaneously, I felt the rush of anger surge through me, the hot feeling that urges you to strike back. Both reactions were instant. Fortunately, my spirit reminded me that his negativity was not only from him, but about him. I was so glad that I was not the one living in anger. Uh-oh, okay. My unkind part was that for a few minutes, I was happy that he was unhappy. The dance of negativity has intricate steps. What I'm trying to say about the energy that we live in is to be aware of when and what is created by you or created by others. When it is your creation, make it enhance yourself and others. When it is created by others, either join in or not. Just be aware of what is happening. I haven't told you anything that is new, but I hope it can remind you to stay peaceful. I'll end with an example of an enhancing energy that took place when a fire truck blared past a group of us. When I hear sirens, I equate them with distress. But another, Bruce Bohes, approached it in a different way. He said, "Good is on the way." Now that statement is the real mini message.
Thank you very much, Kelly. Good morning.
Good morning.
How is everyone this morning? Good?
Great.
Crummy? Need a repair? Goods on the way. She just said so. Debbie, it's good to see you this morning. And we're going to see Debbie next Sunday as well, along with Laura Benward and Carol Edgar. And Debbie's going to be working with them on a beautiful special music portfolio. I don't know what else to call it. We're looking forward to that. Thursday will be the
9th this Thursday.
The 9th this Thursday, 10 o'clock in the hall. The coffee pot will be on. Yeah. Discussion book study. Next Sunday, potluck will be the 26th. Any other messages? I know there's messages. Oh, Kelly, it's Christmas time.
Yes.
It's wreath and decorations and oh my goodness.
Okay. If we get enough help, we could put the Christmas tree up today. If not, maybe next week. I already have 2 volunteers, 3, pardon me. Anyone else that could stay? Lonnie? Okay, all right, so after church, maybe we can get the tree in before coffee, and then I'll work on it until people are through their coffee and coming out. All right?
Cool. I guess goods on the way. It's gonna happen. Any other announcements? Boy, I know there's 2 and I can't remember what they are. I gotta start writing things down. Today, we're gonna focus a lot on you and you and you and me and you. So let's stand up and sing, I Love Myself the Way I Am, number 17 in the songbook. We now have the pleasure of greeting each other in whatever fashion we are comfortable with.
I love her as her sing it, maybe we can do it.
I forgot your name. Janet. This is my friend. Christine. They're new here. Susan. I was going to ask Thursday. Is it so I don't have to read it out.
How are we doing now?
Better.
It's good?
Yeah, better.
This is the time of year when all of us share almost everything we have. Certainly our money and our gifts to our loved ones and friends and associates, but our patience, our tenacity, everything we have gets stretched from sharing. But maybe we can take some of the pressure off that stretch this year if we just really simplify it. Let's read our affirmation of abundance, please, together. To realize an abundant life, one must practice giving, receiving, and gratitude. If we just, through all this hustle, bustle, gotta go here, gotta go, and get this, and this has to be just remember this love that we're sharing, and that's what it's intended to be, I think, from all of us, should be peaceful, perhaps, should be a true joy to everyone. And how to start that process of joy is to begin every day, every party, everything you have to do with gratitude. I'm so thankful I've got an opportunity to go to the store and get some Christmas cards. I'm so thankful that I have the opportunity to sit down with my kids, my parents, or my next door neighbors and share this fellowship that means so much to all of us. May we ponder giving and receiving and gratitude. 3 simple little words. Thank you. As we prepare ourselves for our practice, let's sing together Only Believe, number 152 in the Rings.
Good morning, all. It's always such a treat to see how everyone's messages just converge into this perfect theme. What Kelly was saying and what Patrick was just speaking to, the stillness and the gratitude underneath the busyness of the season. For today's practice, we'll be stepping into that field of stillness together. And I'll take you through a visualization to help you tap into that so that you can then go out into the world and do it whenever you need to throughout this busy season. So as usual, we'll start with a couple of deep breaths. Just bringing ourselves fully into present time. And as you take those deep breaths, notice the beautiful presence of stillness and peace physically entering the room. It's come because we've called it. As a group here with our shared intention to experience this peace. We sing a song sometimes called Peace Like a River. I want you to notice right now that there is a beautiful, enormous, sparkling, underground river of peace running right under this church. It's a flowing river, and yet also it brings such stillness with it. Let that stillness enter your heart now. In your mind's eye, look around and realize that you've turned into a congregation of trees whose tap roots reach deep down into this beautiful river of peace that flows underneath us. This river of peace is always already there for us to tap into. By doing so consciously as a group now, we make it more available, which is especially important at this time of year. This is the river of a life whose flow we can always choose either to go with or to go against. It's your heart that will tell you which choice you're making in any given moment. When you look at your to-do list each morning, don't tell yourself, I should do this, I should do that, but instead ask yourself, what can I choose to do with a grateful heart? And trust that only those things are the ones that need to get done today. There's no greater empowerment than to train yourself to choose instead of should. Let's just spend another couple moments feeling into this flow, saying yes to it, letting it carry us with grace. This is heaven on earth. Before we close, let's send this peace also out to the world, intending that it just be received wherever it's needed. This is prayer, intention, without attachment. And so it is.
Thank you, Natalie. As you were talking and I was visualizing that river of peace running under this building. I remembered one of the first extracurricular things that I participated in here at Church of the Oaks was a book study on Matthew Fox's book, One River, Many Wells. And it just, every time, it's all connected. Anyway, my daughter sent me every time both of my daughters post on Facebook, I get this wonderful little email that they posted something worthy of my attention on Facebook. And every day I look and there's 6 out there at it again. Oh, man. But once in a while I open them up because it could be important, like they won the lottery and they're going to share it with Dad. But my youngest daughter sent me this email, and it was a Facebook post, and there was a bottle of water. And it said, this bottle of water, if it happens to be at the Costco store, one of those big things, it's worth about $0.25. If you go to the grocery store, and it's in a not quite so big a thing, worth about $0.50. If you go to the gas station or the convenience store, it's worth $1.09, $1.29, $1.49. And we're talking just regular water, not designer water. It's just plain old water. And then if you go to a restaurant and order a bottle of water, it's going to cost you maybe $2.50. And if you're at the airport, if this bottle of water is at the airport, you could need a cosigner. It's just usually between $4 and $5. So this little article went on to say, how about you? Where you are at, how much value do you have? Not talking about your checking account. How much value do you have in your relationship with Billy Bob? Are you valued highly, or are you just are you a Costco value, or an airport value, or somewhere in between? How about how you value your friends? Are you valuing them at Costco value or airport value or maybe gas station value? All of us do this most of the time without thinking. We have established values, our own value, in certain places or certain situations. We tend to value other people more than we value ourselves, I'm guessing. And where we want to be valued, we want somebody to have a very high opinion of us, because deep down we are more apt to use their opinion of our value than our own. We are so often brutal on ourselves. We're hurt, we're afraid, we're shamed. Then there's the people that seem to value themselves greatly, like our favorite narcissist, Donald. We would assume Donald loves himself. But my friends, I don't think so. Narcissists and super egotistical people and people who are kind of like bullies, they don't love themselves. Actually, just the opposite. Tell you a little story about Donald. Do you know that from the time he was old enough to understand what his father was telling him until he was an adult, Daddy called him Dumb Donnie. Dumb Donnie. His brother was a businessman, a model of dad, and a tyrant, but Donnie was Dumb Donnie. And Donnie accepted that shame and became a self-loathing sociopath, psychopath, and neurotic person. And it's very difficult for us to say we should have compassion. We should have at least empathy for people like that. It's too bad people can get in a position where they can actually hurt and harm lots of other people with a condition of self-shaming, self-loathing like that. But it's way more common than we might think. And certainly not like any of us in this room. When we see our child or a friend make a choice that we know could have made a better choice, probably. Do we tell them, oh, that was dumb? Most of the time not. We kind of talk to them and encourage them. But let me or let you make the same decision. What's the first words out of your mouth when you think you made that decision and when you see how it turned out? Dumbass. Every one of us. We will devalue ourselves over and over and over again. I don't know of a practice that we can engage in especially, except maybe when you wake up in the morning, realize, maybe write it on your bathroom mirror or something, that you are valuable. You are part of the human race. You are part of a relationship, a marriage or a friendship, or you have co-workers that are all working for the same goal. You have value. And why in the world would you hate yourself or devalue yourself or shame yourself or be afraid you don't measure up to someone else's opinion? We're in a time when there are two huge energy forces at work in our society. There's the hate, and then there's the, well, it's somebody's fault. And neither of those two energies are sustainable for the continuation of life on this planet, of a society like we have. This is America. We have, for the sake of just talking, we got like 300 million people, maybe 340 million people. The numbers are just, I don't know who counts them. But we've got a lot of folks. But this country perhaps doesn't offer the best opportunity, but offers a really great opportunity for every one of us to achieve our personal goals, to have dreams and maybe realize those dreams, to become and do for a living whatever we choose, to have whatever friends we want, to build whatever kind of life we want. And you know what? 80% of that 300 million people actually deep down don't believe they're worthy of such a wonderful life experience. Because virtually everything in our culture tells us that, well, we're too old, too dumb, too fat, too skinny, too slow, too fast. We're something other than a magnificent piece of creation. There's a lady, I've been listening to her from time to time for 10 years, I think. And most of you have heard of her. She's been on Oprah. She did a couple of TED Talks. Her name is Brené Brown. And I invite every one of you to Google B-R-E-N-E with a funny little mark, B-R-O-W-N. And she's a research person that studies things like shame and guilt and fear and anguish and depression. She's got a lot of interesting things to talk about. And we're getting ready to start a new year here in just a few weeks. And we have been through some real crap over the last couple of years. This COVID thing, fires, all the nasty news, the messy, just mess that our society and our nation is in. And they talk about everything except our connection, our spiritual connection with each other across the board. So maybe all of us could spend some quiet time amongst all the chaos of the holidays. Schedule a little quiet time. I suggested that before. Just schedule a little quiet time. Twice a week, schedule a half an hour. You just sit and maybe listen to Brené Brown. Maybe read something that calms you down and affirms you have value. You have way more value than you give yourself credit for, every one of you. You have the ability to create almost anything you want to create. You have the ability to transcend fear and anger. You have the ability to decide to show compassion and empathy and love and kindness and acceptance to every single human being, whether their name is Donald Trump or not. It's all about your choice. Life is full of choices. And most of us have been conditioned, oh, don't make a choice. We'll tell you what you need. We'll tell you what to watch. We'll tell you how to vote. We'll tell you what to buy. We'll tell you what car to drive and where to go. And when you get there, we'll tell you what to do. You don't have to make many choices. Just bring your plastic and your checkbook. That does not create a life that is filled with satisfaction and contentment, what I call enrichment. You have to choose those. And you have to have the awareness that you are actually making a choice. And if you don't have value for yourself, how in the world is it you expect anybody else to? By some charade you play, or some disguise you put on, some role you're playing? Just go home. Go in the bathroom. When you get out of the shower, go just look in the mirror. That's you. And you are amazing. You have been through stuff that half the people in the world couldn't have lived through. You have seen things that have been so beautiful and so rewarding and so terrifying. You can't even put them into words. But there you are. An amazing, amazing creation. You're supposed to be here. You have value. And when we relinquish or downplay or devalue ourselves or anyone else, what do you think that does to your spirit, to your heart, and to the people around you who do love you? When they realize that I'm just junk. We are not junk. We are part of this amazing network, this labyrinth, this network, this dynamic process called life. I hope each of us can spend some time and think about, well, am I Costco grade or airport grade? And this is a cute way to look at it. But I think it's one of the most important reflections that any of us can make. What am I worth? There's a lot of people counting on me. There's a lot of people counting on each one of you, whether you know it or not. I heard a quote years ago. In the eyes of the world, you may think, I'm no big thing. But in the eyes of someone who cares about you, you might be worth the world. You are, each of you, are worth all the value you can imagine. Because you're part of my family, and so it is. We're going to sing this song. How could anyone ever tell me? Think about these words. How many times have you told yourself you're not beautiful? You're not loving. Think about these words, folks, and sing, how could anyone, including me, ever tell me I'm not beautiful?
Ready Amen.